Hello and welcome to episode 7 of Bob Builds. So this is a continuation of the player versus player map that I'm building for an upcoming tournament. So what I thought I'd build this week is the back of the island has all these cliffs and mountains which don't really have anything interesting, and there's no reason for players to go there yet. So what I thought I'd do is I'd build something a bit different from what I've done so far, because most things I've been building have been old kind of structures, like you can see the starting area in the distance there, and then there's the old style factory in the woods. So what I'm building here is like a Cold War era missile silo. So you can see here I'm just kind of marking out the actual silos themselves, you know, like the big holes into the ground where the missiles will be held. And then on the hill there, on the cliff, just overlooking it, is going to be like the bunker, like the kind of command control area and the entrance to them. So it was pretty easy building the bunker. All I did was just hollow into the hill, knock out a lot of dirt, give myself enough space. Like, I wanted it to be open enough for players to walk around, but I also wanted it to be quite claustrophobic because it's an underground missile silo. It's not going to be huge and cavernous. And also because I built it into the hill and because it's covered in dirt and grass, it might not be immediately obvious to players. You know, they'll actually have to look around for this. It'll be like a nice little surprise when they find it. So once I got this hollowed out, I then just started to get the walls, making the walls look like that actually, you know, it'd been made, man-made, not just something that, I don't know, like a natural cave. For instance, you can see me just putting in, like, you know, a proper ceiling here, there's a little window there, and then so here you can just see I'm carving out a little entrance to the base, and as you can see, that's how the base will look basically. You know, that's it more or less finished from the outside, so it's like a little, basically just covered in grass and dirt. You can hardly see it, apart from this little door, which is hidden away. Just tried a few different things here until I got happy with it. So now that I've got the top of my bunker, I then started digging out down quite a lot. And of course, a fun way to do that without using a map editor, use TNT. I love mining with TNT. So easy. Especially when you're just when you're digging in just a solid rock, because it's really precise. Cuts out straight 3x3 chunks, as you can see. Unless, of course, when it does that, then it cuts out some of the dirt. Oh well. So I wasn't sure how deep to build this. I just kind of guessed, and then when I did the silos themselves for the missiles, I made it kind of match up, and I thought I got it close enough. So once I'd carved out a good enough size space with the TNT, I then started marking the walls, making them look a little bit more interesting. I went and coloured the walls in alternating wool with black and grey wool, or whatever, and it just makes it look like it has been man-made, like a bit more industrial. But I didn't want it too big. It's quite tall, but it's quite narrow as well. And then the next thing to do after that was just to build in stairs and just decorate the place, make it look a bit old, with cobwebs. I knocked away some of the stairs to make it look a bit dilapidated. There's no lighting at all because this would be, an abandoned base. And I think this looks okay. It's a shell just now, basically. I need to add rooms and signs and, I don't know, something interesting for the players. But for now, we'll just leave that control bunker and we'll go on to actually making the missile silos. So here I just dug them the same way, just using TNT, and going back and making the walls, the walls perfect stone. And then I like this black and yellow kind of checkered effect on the bottom I did, because it makes it look a bit more like, like a warning sign. So then what I was putting here was a little walkway, where right at the bottom, where I can imagine engineers or whatever would come and look at the missiles. And just it gives, you know, I have to remember as well that all these things don't have to look nice, but they also have to be useful for the players. So I'm not just going to make something, you know, that looks pretty and looks realistic. These balconies aren't just aesthetic, they're also there so it actually, you know, gives players space to run about down here and to find things. Or to fight each other, you know, you never know. So I took a long time here, just making sure that I had the perfect sized balcony. And then all I do is just link the two missile silos with a corridor through. Again, very simple. This isn't a huge grand build, this one. It's just an idea I had and I wanted to do. So, yeah, here we go. So I covered in this corridor, I wanted to use the same effect, the black and yellow checkered wool. I tried using different things first, like stone and dirt, but it just all looked a bit, you know, just a bit boring. Because stone is a nice clean looking material, but because it spawns naturally everywhere in Minecraft, it seems like, you know, you're being a bit lazy using it. And yeah, this definitely wasn't going to do. I like the use of the half slabs though. I always love using half slabs. It just makes what would have been a flat floor a little bit more interesting. And it helps to create the, you know, the curve effect of a tunnel. There we go, and you can see, so I've covered one of the walls in the black and yellow wool, just to match up with the missile silos. And then I just repeat the effect on this wall as well. So what I'm thinking for this base, which you'll see briefly later on, is I actually made it a little bit more interesting for players to come down. So because it's an abandoned missile base, there won't be, you know, lots of things in here, and one of the missile silos will be empty, but one of them will still have a missile in it. And while obviously it's Minecraft, you can't make the missile fly out and blow up things, I have filled the missile with TNT. So I'm going to create like a kind of a control bunker where players can go in, press a switch, and it will blow up the missile. And when this blows up, and the silo that the missile's in, it will reveal maybe a chest with, I don't know, a chest with something nice in it, or a secret passageway or something. So here is the missile silo looking a little bit more interesting, because I've actually added the pathway down at the bottom here, which leads down to the missiles themselves. And you'll just see briefly here on the right is this the control room. We won't go into detail on that too much because I don't really want to spoil it for players. Filled this one with cobwebs and water, just again because it's meant to be an abandoned missile silo, you know, left over from the Cold War, so it's been here for goodness knows how long. And I had a little pathway up top linking the two silos. I did consider putting fence or iron bars around it, but it just looked a bit rubbish. And also it made it obvious that there was something here when I want players to kind of stumble onto this rather than, you know, to see it from afar and come looking for it. So as you can see in this last silo here, I made a missile as well as I could. It's kind of difficult to make a missile shape in that size in Minecraft, and that's all filled with TNT. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week on Bob Builds in Minecraft.